One of the things the Archbishop asked us to do is the groups all have tried to, for the most part, have tried to stay in contact since the Lambeth Conference in 2008 by email to continue the personal dialogue. And so those are the kinds of things that are going to help reduce the tensions in the community. I have to tell you, since 2008, the tension level in the community has gone nowhere but down. We're at a very different place right now in terms of inter-community tensions than we were 2 years ago. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're actually talking to one another and not having conversations through the press, for the most part. So, there's that.
That's a great question.
I wasn't joking because of the question.
Actually, the Diocese of Atlanta continues to grow. We're really doing quite well in terms of our vitality. We are facing some financial struggles this year that actually are more because of the system we use. Congregationally, the recovery from the market collapse has gone pretty well. The problem is that for the diocesan budget, we're on a 3-year rolling average. What that means is that the portion that the congregations pay is based on a 3-year average. So we're still, from our standpoint, we're still back in the collapse because of the 3-year rolling average. If we were assessing congregations based on their income today, we'd be in fabulous shape. But because we use a 3-year rolling average, we're going to have some difficulties. Now, we're still going to present a balanced budget at council next month. In fact, I spent all morning Thursday in budget hearings going over the budget line by line. And I think that while I'm saddened by some of the cuts, I think that we will be able to continue the vigorous ministry of this diocese even with the cuts. But that means no expansion. So we're going to, in a way, flatten out for the next year or so. The problem, again, for the diocese is that we're only in the first year of the decline. Next year will be the worst year of the 3-year rolling average. Then after that, it'll go up. But the problem is it's going to take 3 years until the diocesan budget goes up, because that's when we'll finally get the increase that started in the parishes 2 years ago. So I think mostly our congregations are in good shape. We have some that have some difficulties. Not all of those are due to the economy. So overall, we're very healthy. As I said, the diocese continues to grow in terms of numbers. Our new congregations are all thriving and frankly doing quite well. We have some small congregations that are struggling. They are the ones that are most vulnerable in difficult economic times, and that shows. But we're doing everything we can to support them and help them get through this period. So I think that overall, I would say in spite of what's gone on economically, the Diocese of Atlanta is still one of the most vital dioceses in the entire Episcopal Church. And probably will continue. We'll survive this little hiccup in the economy quite well. I mean, we actually have, you find this hard to believe, but we actually have, trying to remember the number, I'll just say several, about 5% of our congregations that have actually overpledged their diocesan portion. The minimum asking is 10%. We have several congregations that have pledged 11 to 12% without any encouragement from us. But it has to do, we're back to this whole business of being family. There's an old saying, we all remember, some of you are old enough to remember Pogo. Pogo, the theologian. We used to say, we has met the enemy and he is us. Well, that's sort of like, we has met the diocese and that is us. We are the Diocese of Atlanta. It's not just some office over on Peachtree. It's not just the cathedral and the bishop. It's us. We are the Diocese of Atlanta. And so, look around this congregation. If you see vitality here, then you're looking at a vital diocese. And this is what I see. I have the privilege of being in a different congregation every week. Everywhere I go, I see vitality. It takes different forms in different places, but we have vital, growing congregations. We have congregations that are doing ministry that's absolutely life-changing in their communities. And you all know about that, because that's what goes on here. So that's the way I measure vitality. It's not just the economics of it. It has to do with doing ministry.
I like, in terms of the growth of the church, I'd like to ask you a question about the next generation. Our children are really spiritual, they're aware of spiritual growth, but they're pursuing that spirituality outside the church. And frankly, in terms of showing you Jesus and maybe even God, can you kind of comment on that?
I'm going to have you travel with me. I'm a straight man. I have for a number of years done workshops in churches on generational difference. I have to tell you, the first time I did it, I was scared to death. I was a brand new bishop, and I mean brand new. And other people at this conference were the presiding bishop and the primate of Australia. And they were sitting in the front row while I was doing this. I mean, I was pretty nervous. But neither one of them fell on the floor, so I guess it was okay. We have some serious problems with the two generations that follow ours. And I say two generations because that's the way they do develop statistics on those groups. There's actually a third generation in between those two who are very mad because nobody does statistics on them. I'm not kidding. It's true. But they see the world in a different way. And part of the problem is that up till now, the church has primarily assumed how it is they see the church. We haven't bothered to ask them. In fact, I just discovered a book that was published in 2007. It's not very well known. The title of the book is on Christian. It's actually a statistical analysis, serious science done with those two groups, known as Generation X and the Millennial Generation. So that takes us from about 40 to 19. And this was done by the George Barna people, who are a serious statistical development organization. One of the primary problems that young people have with the church, they are deeply spiritual. You also have to remember, this is the same group that says, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. There's a point to that. The title of the book is On Christian is because they see us as unchristian. We say one thing, but we do another. And I haven't finished the book yet, so I can't give you all the statistics, but we get some clues from some things that are going on around the country. There's a little thing called the emergent church movement, which is a whole different kind of movement populated primarily by Gen Xers and millennials. Occasionally an old guy like me come in, but most older people aren't interested in their kind of religion. The ironic thing about it is that this population is theologically traditional, liturgically traditional, but socially liberal. The Episcopal Church, quite frankly, we say we're theologically traditional, but we mean our tradition. In the world of theology, the modern American Episcopal Church is not traditional. That's one problem. The other problem is that young people are looking for an experience. Most young people in emerging churches don't even care if there is a sermon. They're not there to get information. They're there to encounter the presence of God now, not later. So if what you do liturgically does not help them or provide an environment in which they can have an encounter, they're not coming back. And so we have some things to think about. I mean, I could go on forever with this. There's a long list of implications for the church.